The following is a presentation of TFNN. It is now time for Living a Primal Lifestyle with your host, Nico de Hann. And now, here's Nico de Hann.
Hi, folks. This is Nico de Hann on Friday, March 9th, 2012, and this is Living a Primal Lifestyle. It's time once again to talk about your health, fitness, and diet. My call-in number here is 877-927-6648 if you'd like to join the show. International number here is 727-445-1044. My Health Signals newsletter currently showing issue 5 for 2012. By signing up for it, you get it free for 30 days and receive 2 issues each month for only $10 a month. And you'll receive those issues on the first and third Friday of each and every month. My email address here is nico@tfnn.com if you have any questions or comments. Hope everybody's doing well in the chat room, streaming live on the internet, on Tagger TV, and on the radio. It's sunny here, about 77 degrees, partly cloudy, mostly sunny, drops in and out. It's downtown Clearwater, Florida, folks. A beautiful, beautiful day. And we're enjoying ourselves here in Florida. The weather is just fantastic. We've had one of the best years we've ever had. And that just goes to show you that you live here and you enjoy life. You know, the loss of our medical freedom is one thing I want to talk about. It's in my newsletter. For those of you worried about maintaining your medical freedom in this modern age, it may comfort you to know that at least one of our country's founding fathers shared your concerns. Unless we put medical freedom into the Constitution, the time will come when medicine will organize into an undercover dictatorship to restrict the art of healing to one class of men and deny equal privileges to others. The Constitution of the Republic should make a special privilege for medical freedoms as well as our religious freedoms. Those are the words of Dr. Benjamin Rush. He's a noted physician and medical professor and an early Surgeon General to all the Continental Armies. He was an assigner of the Declaration of Independence. Rush represented Philadelphia at the Continental Congress, but not before establishing himself as a popular physician and professor in Philadelphia. A noted humanitarian, Rush was also an important writer, having authored the first American textbook on chemistry and ultimately contributing several essays to newspapers applauding the patriot cause. His passion was medicine, and in particular, as the above quote attests, the right of a free society to choose their own health care path. So much was he against what he viewed as government ineptitude that he ultimately resigned his post as Surgeon General, and this was because of the way medical care was being mismanaged among the troops during the Civil War. I guess before the Civil War. Fast forward 230 plus years to America today, and there exists a healthcare system and infrastructure that surely would have driven Rush mad. You know, given the federal government's rush to manage the health care of all Americans through things like Obamacare and any number of other Washington-mandated schemes, the good doctor's century-old observation has proven to be quite prophetic. Yet it is also proving inspirational. His dire warning serves as the impetus for a new movement aimed not so much at repealing any current laws which already force compliance with strict new health care requirements, but rather a single, simple measure aimed at restoring your right to decide for yourself what sort of medical care you want. Now, according to information posted at the website, which is rush2013.com, a movement dubbed the Dr. Benjamin Rush Project boasts that freedom of choice in healthcare is your natural right and urges support for state constitutional amendments that would claim freedom of choice in medical care and medical practice. The movement is the brainchild of John or Jack Phillips, a retired Army officer and Harvard graduate who founded his own chemical engineering company, and later he became involved in several Defense Department and NASA-related missile and space programs, according to Stephen Miller, who's the founder of the website, who says that he is a former Army Special Forces combat engineer that became enamored with Philip Rush's amendment concept. According to Miller's site, the idea behind the state-level Rush Amendment is simple. It is a reaffirmation of the 10th Amendment, essentially. The amendment itself is simple as well as straightforward. The people and any lawful inhabitant, resident, or sojourn of the state of whatever state you're in shall have the freedom of choice and practice of any health care or medical care modalities as they deem in their own personal best interest and judgment. Language for the national level amendment is very similar. It aims to reestablish your rights to choose your own medical practice and practitioner. It establishes the freedom for physicians to practice alternative medicine techniques, for regular citizens to practice their own forms of medical care, and the freedom to purchase medications and treatments without a prescription. Now, it also leaves the responsibility for obtaining medical care or not to you, and finally, it frees you from the chains imposed by government health care mandates. So if all those provisions are things on which more Americans agree, remains to be seen. But the premise, freedom from big government's mandates over your health care and your health care choices is noble as well as necessary today, in my opinion. So, how's everybody doing? That's something I just kind of wanted to get off my chest there. It's also in my new Health Signals newsletter. If you haven't seen your copy, go to the website. Also go to livingaprimal.lifestyle.com, and there's a link directly to getting my newsletter there. We have some interesting things, articles in here with this issue. Preferences for fatty foods may have genetic roots. A real in-depth article with some links to it that will give you information on this. Also, you've heard of your drugs on brain. This is your brain on sugar. Your drugs on brain, I guess it was your brain on drugs. But this is a great article that you should look at because it does give you some great links, and it talks about how you can stabilize your brain with saturated fats. And the loss of medical freedom, which I just went over. The cholesterol heart disease myth. This is an in-depth article really explaining how this came about and why today people are still, taking the medications like the Zocor and Lipitor and those things, the statin drugs, and why it's really not necessary and why you're really actually probably doing your health more harm than good in most cases. Another thing on here is, of course, coffee. We talk a lot about coffee on our show, and I have my organic coffee right here in hand. I'll take a little sip from it. Delicious. And of course, there's many, many reasons why you should drink coffee, and one is better memory recall. But there are many things. It can improve certainly your brain function. It is a great source of antioxidants. It can improve your sensitivity to insulin. It can accelerate fat loss, and it can improve performances in exercise also. I've found a lot of these things to be true, and I do drink coffee. Most of the time I drink espresso, but Mike is good enough to fix me a nice cup of organic coffee when I come here. Other things in here is why skim milk really is bad for us. And this is really breaks down to a meme that, fat is not good for us. And we, of course, are inundated with all kinds of messages telling us that how we all should be thinking low fat. And Well, I'll talk about that in a minute a little bit more. A thing about Dr. Oz in here that you may find interesting, a link to the In Search of the Perfect Human Diet, which is the new DVD that's just coming out. So important to take a look at that, and it gives you much more research and validifies a lot of the things that we've been talking about here on the program. Some great recipes, de Hann chicken stew, and some honey and citrus glazed hams. I've got a page on here, motivations to make changes in your life and how your brain works on that level. Some medicine ball training. I'll tell you, medicine ball training is a great way that you can exercise at home with very little equipment and just this ball. They come in different weights. You can start off slow. You can start off hard. It's something you need to look into because there's so many things that we can do at home that will make exercise not only, something that you have to do, but a lot of fun. And that's basically what I like to look at, is when I'm exercising, I want to have a blast. That's why I do jiu-jitsu, and that's why I do the strength training I do and throw the balls around. And, anything that I can think of to make it easier to go through that 20 or 30 minutes of exercise or longer if you wish. But you don't really have to exercise long to get the benefits out of it as long as you do it in the primal way. And that's high bursts of energy, short duration, a rest in between. Nothing could be easier. And, I talk a lot about exercise on this program. In fact, I've been working pretty hard because I'm getting ready for the Pan Am Games. It's coming up in about 2.5, 3 weeks, and I'm right now at the peak of my training. So the next 2 weeks, we're going to start scaling it back slowly, and I think I'll be in good shape. In fact, I was looking at the schedule for the Pan Ams, and I noticed that the guy who I fought last year, who beat me, is still ranked in the purple belts. He's 2 categories below me in age now because they've scaled up the age. So, but I'll shake his hand and proudly wear my brown belt while I got his purple. So I thought that was pretty cool when I looked at that. And hopefully somebody will beat him from my dojo. And that would be very good, too. So pick up my Health Signals newsletter, folks. You know how to do it. You go to the TFNN.com website, look under newsletters, and you'll find Health Signals. And please check it out. This is how you're going to get informed about what we're talking about here on the program, and go much more in depth than we talk about, and try to really explain this whole process of why people are getting fat, why we're getting sick, and how we can actually make a big difference in our own and our families and our friends' lives. Because the more we talk about this, I think the more it starts to sink in. So, the number here is 877-927-6648. Please pick up the phone and give me a call. I'm going to talk about an email I got from one of our listeners, Jim, talking about fat, and we're going to go get right into that right after the break. So, stick around. I'll be right back.
In just December of last year, the price of gold was down over 10%. In today's highly volatile gold market, you need someone in your corner that understands the complex relationships that exist within the price of gold, as well as within a variety of gold equities. Whether it's the South African gold miners and knowing how the rand-dollar relationship will affect their bottom line, or understanding how John Paulson's $5 billion trade in the GLD can move the market, Tom O'Brien gives you the direction you need to become a better trader each week in his newsletter, The Gold Report. With over 20 individual equities covered and almost another 20 on the potential watch list each week, in addition to covering the XAU, HUI, GLD, and dollar, The Gold Report is a great source for any trader that is looking to be diversified in today's volatile gold market. For your 30-day free trial to Tom O'Brien's Gold Report, log on to TFNN.com today. Don't miss out on this great offer. Act now. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective and maximize your returns. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor, Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes, co-host of The Money Masters with Tom O'Brien, seen daily at TFNN.com, author of Mastering Probabilities, a daily investment and trading newsletter, and teacher of the money game. Studies show that 3 out of 5 people are afraid for their life in trading these markets, and the number one reason given is fear of loss. Look, fear stands for false evidence appearing real, and the money game proves it. Lesson number 1, don't risk more than 1% of your trading capital on any trade. Why, you ask? Because 35 trades in a row where you risk 50 cents and make $1 are all you need to double your trading capital, versus the 230 losing trades in a row you would need to bring your balance to $100. Let me teach you more about the money game risk-free for 30 days. Go to the homepage of TFNN.com and click on my name, Steve Rhodes, for your 30-day risk-free trial. You were born to be a money master, and I'll teach you how.
X-Story Gold Mines, an NYSE Amex-listed company trading under the symbol XG, is slated to be the newest gold-silver producer in Argentina. X-Story is forecast to produce more than $250 million in bullion annually, beginning in 2013, at a cash cost of less than $200 for each ounce of gold produced. That forecast will make X-Story one of the highest margin operators in South America and a sector leader in the mining industry. X-Story has $50 million in its treasury, having spent over $60 million to date on drilling and engineering. The ultimate size of its Argentina discovery could be determined by year-end, as results from the 6 drills operating at the site are fully assessed. To find out more about X-Story Gold Mines and their exciting growth potential, click on their banner on the front page of TFNN.com or check them out on the NYSE Amex under the symbol XG.
This segment is brought to you by Great Panther Silver. For more information, just click the Great Panther Silver banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico from Living a Primal Lifestyle. The number here is 877-927-6648. Before the break, I was talking about, I got an email from Jim, and let me just read it for you here. It's, hi, Nico. A couple of weeks ago, you spoke about fat that builds up in your body from eating grains and the like, which fat it's not available to be burned. How does one remove said fat if it is not available to be burned without losing muscle mass and starving yourself from days and days on end? And this is a good question in a sense that, we are so inundated that not to eat fat, and it's hard to overcome that urge of just, because we're so programmed. This is the response I gave him. Carbohydrates, like grains and the like, are converted into fats by insulin to be stored in the fat cells of the body. Dietary fats, which are the fats you eat, are converted into ketones by the liver to be burned as fuel. So basically what happens is when we're eating carbohydrates, and this is not just grain, it's fruit juices, fruits, even your fibrous vegetables on a much slower scale, get converted into the glucose as blood sugar. And when that happens, your body has to normalize the sugar because that is spiking your sugar up a little higher than normal, and insulin comes in and does the balancing. And most people think that the insulin is our sugar regulator. What it actually is a fat storage hormone. It works with another hormone called glycogen, And the glucagon is the other hormone, and these hormones kind of work in unison. When one goes up, the other one goes down, and the glucagon is the fat-burning hormone. So when you're eating the carbohydrates, your insulin goes up, glucagon goes down. So you're burning less, you're storing more. And the more carbohydrates you eat, the higher that insulin goes up, and the lower the glucagon goes down. So in our modern diet, because we have about 60 to 70% of our nutrients come from grains or from vegetables or from soft drinks or fast processed food, what happens is your insulin is constantly in there. And that means you're constantly blocking the fat that's going into your body to be stored, and that's not available as a fuel source for you. Only until you start eating some protein and fat, and particularly fat, will that glucagon go up and that sugar hormone go down, your insulin. And that opens the door for you to start burning that fat. So only by adjusting your diet can you really tap into it. Now there's another aspect to that, which is if you exercise, you'll start burning fat too. And that could happen even under those circumstances. But you want the opposite to happen. You want really, when you exercise, to use the sugar in your muscles. And you're not going to lose. When you're losing fat, you're not losing muscle. The only time you're losing muscle is if you're starving your body on a low-calorie diet and that high carbohydrate diet at the same time, which is what most of Americans are on. So that really is a hard thing to get across to people, that you really need to adjust your fat. Fat gives us the very much satisfaction for a long period of time. There's only two satisfactions really in our body. One comes from sugar and one comes from fat. Well, the sugar doesn't last very long. And it doesn't last very long in our body because it gets stored fast. So it's not a good fuel system, because it's kind of like having that supercharger in your car. The gas tank is where all your fuel is, and if you're not accessing that, you're burning it off the supercharger. And unless gas is going through there, that's not working too well either. So that's kind of the way it works. So one way you eat, you shut down your fat burning. The other way you eat, you're going to accelerate fat burning. And while you're burning fat, you're not going to be losing muscle. Muscle loss comes from a whole different aspect of it, by not exercising and kind of not having much activity. And at the same time, you're also eating the wrong kinds of food. So don't be worried about losing muscle if you're on the Primal diet, because it's, the protein takes care of that. And our diet really is a high-fat diet. 50 to 60% of your calories are going to come from good sources of natural fat that we eat, that you'll be able to burn. About 35-40% comes from your protein, and then your carbs are 15 to 25%, depending on how you're going to adjust and how active you are and how comfortable you feel doing whatever. But you get your percentage of carbohydrates down to 25, you're going to be a fast, lean machine burning fat all day long. So that's the way that works. And all this information is my Health Signals newsletter. So please go to the website, pick it up, check it out, and subscribe to Health Signals. It's only $10 a month, and you'll receive 2 issues each month. So real important. You can call me at 877-927-6648. Pick up the phone, folks, and don't forget that we're archived on the TFNN website and also on iTunes, and now on livingaprimal.lifestyle.com. Video archives are on there, so check that out too. I'll be right back.
Hi, folks. This is Tom O'Brien. If you want to get great trade setups and equity as well as the option market, come over to TFNN.com and test drive my daily newsletter, Market Insights, for 2 weeks absolutely free. Each trade setup comes with a profit projection as well as stop placement. Included in Market Insights is a Twitter alert service. This allows you to take advantage of intraday setups. Volatility is back in the markets. What does that mean to you? To me, it spells short-term opportunity each and every day. The days of trending up on lighter volume are gone. We have come off the highs with volume across the globe. Don't get caught in a complacency trap. Many of the indices have given back 2 months of trading in 1 week. We have a trader's market. You can take advantage of this traders market by test driving my daily newsletter, Market Insights, free for 2 weeks. Market Insights will give you the edge you're looking for in the markets. Go to TFNN.com under newsletter. Hit the Market Insight tab for your 2-week free test drive right here, right now.
In the world of financial markets, there's a new player in town with an exciting new way to trade the markets. Nadex now offers binary options as well as bull spreads in a wide range of indices along with commodity and forex markets. With as little as $100, you can gain access to a new way to trade global financial markets while guaranteeing that your risk will always be capped. Nadex allows you to multiply your trading opportunities in ways never imagined before and access markets you once thought were out of reach. With short-term trading opportunities available, including binary options expiring each hour the market is open, Nadex allows you to take advantage of a variety of market conditions regardless of volatility or market direction. Now is the time to take advantage of this exciting new market. Don't let this trading opportunity pass you by. Open your account today by clicking on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Nadex, a better way to trade.
Put the power of the Chapman Wave methodology to work for you. No matter what market you trade, what time frame you trade in, or your trading style, the Opening Call, Basil Chapman's daily market newsletter, is bursting with the information and trades you need to become a more successful trader.
I've been using Basil Chapman's Chapman Wave methodology for several years now. His Chapman Wave can be used for any time period for not only equities, but futures, currencies, commodities. I've been also a subscriber of his Opening Call, which I find an invaluable tool to help me analyze the potential of the market each day. He gives you opportunities to go short and long. It includes recommendations on stocks. I strongly recommend people using the Chapman Wave, and I very, very strongly support the use of his Opening Call.
To find out more about Basil Chapman and his Chapman Wave methodology, and to get your 2-week free trial of the Opening Call, a $64 value, visit TFNN.com today.
What type of investor are you? Conservative, moderate, or aggressive? No matter your investor personality, your overall portfolio should reflect your financial goals, time horizon, and your risk tolerance. Help ensure your portfolio is appropriately invested with an asset allocation plan from Morgan Stanley Smith Barney. Simply picking the right stocks is not enough. Research has shown that choosing the right proportion of stocks, bonds, and cash is essential to the success of your long-term investments. Morgan Stanley Smith Barney believes a carefully selected portfolio can lower your volatility and increase investment return potential. Find out about what asset allocation and a Morgan Stanley Smith Barney financial advisor can do for you. Call Angelo O'Brien, financial advisor and certified financial planner of the Clearwater, Florida branch at 727-441-6108 today to discuss your personal financial needs. Asset allocation does not assure a profit or protect against loss in declining financial markets. Investments and services are offered through Morgan Stanley Smith Barney, LLC. Member SI.
This segment is brought to you by Crocodile Gold. For more information, just click the Crocodile Gold banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle. The number here is 877-927-6648. And chatting here in the chat room with Ken from Philly. And he's talking about that he's having eggs delivered, which is nice. 24 farm-raised, natural, etc. eggs delivered today. Also got some grass-fed raw whole milk from the local farm. And that's good stuff. And he's lost 20 pounds on following my advice. His wife has yet to get on board, but I think sooner or later she's bound to see what's going on here. It's very difficult to change people's minds, and I find it frustrating at times too. You know, I talk to a lot of people, and I see a few of them making changes, and there's many of them won't. And it's very it's disturbing to me. I have, you know, I'm at the age now, I'm here in my late 60s, and I remember about 10 years ago, one of my friends who was really healthy also says, you know, we've got to get younger friends because they won't be dying around us as much. So I had a friend of mine, I was in our wedding party, him and his wife, came to our wedding many years ago, and my wife informed me the other day that he passed away with a heart attack, 63 years old. And a very, very wonderful gentleman. Him and his wife are just beautiful people. Both overweight, had been for maybe 15 years. And I remember that Hal had always asked me, how do you stay so trim and how do you get the energy to do what you're doing? And, I would naturally tell him. But it's very hard to change. They were very successful, sold their company maybe 7 or 8 years ago and got quite a bit of money, moved up to Homosassa on the river, had a nice house, always invited me up to go fishing, and now I won't have the chance to because he's gone. And he's not the only one. It was in the past month I've had 3 or 4 people that I knew or people that I was associated with that just are gone now. And it is disturbing when it gets real close to you. It's one thing to hear about it on the news and hear about it from other sources, but when your wife is telling you or a good friend is telling you, who died the other day, and you know them, and you've even worked them out in many cases, exercised with them, and now all of a sudden they're just gone, and it's hard. It's very hard. And tonight I'm going up to Homosassa with my wife, and we're going to be there at the wake, but certainly not a great time. So, many people think that the paleo diet, the primal type diet, the Stone Age diet, and these things are kind of fads, just like the South Beach diet and the Atkins diet was. And I can understand where these people are coming from. But once you start looking at the data, once you start dabbling into it a little bit, you can see how it's much easier to eat this way because your hormones aren't affected. You're on an even keel. Your brain is a lot calmer. Everything that we talk about on this show about health is actually working in the paleo diet. And is it for everybody? I think it probably is. I think there's some adjustments that have to be made. I know some people have a real problem at first losing weight and sticking with what their version of it might be. But the key really is to get your head wrapped around, to get it into your brain that fat is our friend as long as it comes from good fat. Because one person on a blog said the other day, and this kind of made sense, is we've got to take into our body what our body is made out of. Our body is, about 50 to 60% fat, about 30% muscle and bones, and the rest of it is the fluids and the carbohydrates that are in there. So, we need to eat fat and we need to eat protein to sustain ourselves. Our brain is 90% fat. Probably half of that is oversaturated fat. Saturated fat is animal fat. We are predisposed to eat animals. And if you're a vegetarian and you don't like that message, sorry. I advise you to think about sustainability because a lot of people go on to a vegetarian diet because, well, it's greener. It really isn't, because what you're supporting is grains, which are monocrops, which really destroy our environment a lot. By setting up rows and rows of grains, all the diversity that was in that land before we started planting that's where all the wildlife and all the insects and all the birds and every species on our planet live off of that. And by destroying that land and starting to grow the monocrops of the wheat and the oats and the corn, you really have to look at that and say, this is really not the way to do it. A wild environment that can sustain many animals, many different kind of plants is what this earth always had been until we started interfering with it. If, we talk about saving the Amazon and things like that because there's so many species over there. Well, it used to be that way in America, too. I mean, I read an article a few months back, talked about Indiana, how in a 20-year period in the mid-1800s, Indiana went from a rich wooded state that was just 90% forest land to about 40% was destroyed just in those 20 years and turned into farming land where they could grow grains. And this really destroyed. If you go through Indiana now, there are pockets of these wooded areas where you might be able to find a Bigfoot or something. Who knows? But there are these pockets there, but there's a lot of wide open spaces there that you can drive through that nothing is being grown on because they have to wait. So if you're talking about diversity and you're talking about saving the planet, paleo diet is really the way to go, because we're looking after the environment, because this is where our food is grown. So very important to get that across. Also, it's much better for our individual health. Fat is something that our body needs. It's a sustainable thing. It's something that you can go without a meal for a long time and your brain doesn't crash. You don't get that sugar urgentness that I have to eat now. It doesn't make sense for nature to do that to us if we're, because as primitive man, and probably around the country, a lot of people go hungry. And it doesn't make sense for us when we need to have our wits about us to be able to get food, that our brain would just go nuts because we're so darn hungry. That just doesn't make any sense to me. What makes sense to me is that we're going to be sharp and we're going to be find ways of finding food. I was looking over an article the other day, and it's talking about who are the bravest people who on this planet today, and we're thinking, well, hunter and gatherers. Well, who a modern hunter-gatherer in our society probably is a homeless person. If you just stick with me and go through this a little bit, because a homeless person, okay, they wake up first thing in the morning, and first thing they're looking around for safety. They want to make sure they're safe, because they're in a vulnerable place. They're out in the street. And the second thing they do is they go hunting for food. Now, the food available to them, because they don't have a wild area to go to, are the dumpsters and the begging and the things that they have to do. Not an easy life. And then they're going through the day trying to catch some sun just to get some kind of relief, and so their body can kind of just keep going. And then when night falls again, they're starting to look for another place to live, or maybe see if that same one is still there, and is it secure? Am I going to be bothered? I mean, this is real primal living, folks. So, I think the homeless people are some of the bravest people out there. Some of them are probably little nutballs. Excuse me. So there's a lot of people out there, I'm sure, that aren't quite right, and that's why they're there. But some of them may have chosen to just drop out because, our society isn't exactly the greatest thing living. I mean, if you've got a decent wage or you got a decent living and you're pretty well set in the money, you're all right. But if you haven't got money in this society, you're asking for problems. So I guess that's why we're on TFNN, right? To get those stocks and to do all those things to keep ourselves in some kind of cash flow, because without the cash flow, you're going to be out in the street sooner or later, and our society is not very forgiving. So when you see a homeless person, give them $1 or $5, and they have a hard life. I don't think they're out there choosing, say, hey, I'm going to go begging because this is what I do because I'm lazy. No, I don't think they're really lazy, folks. I really don't. Another thing that we have to overcome is the idea that junk food is really cheaper than real food, and I don't think that's really the case. I think that people have looked at this from many angles. It's part of why we explain why so many Americans are overweight, because particularly those people who don't make a lot of money, are low income. We hear comments like that when a bag of chips is cheaper than a head of lettuce, or if it's more affordable to get a family of 4 to McDonald's than to eat or cook a healthy meal at home. Well, this is bull. I think this is totally wrong. In general, despite the subsidies that the government gives us, overly processed foods are really more expensive than the food cooking at home. If you serve like a roasted chicken or vegetables along with it, or a simple salad, you can do this for under $14 for a family of 4. So this is the fact that most people can really afford to eat good. And there's nearly 50 million Americans who are enrolled in some kind of supplemental nutrition assistance program that's really known as food stamps, and they receive about $5 per person per day, which is not really ideal, but it's really enough to survive on. So money alone doesn't guide your decisions about what you eat, and it shouldn't. There are places where food is hard to find, but America is not one of those places. The Department of Agriculture says that more than 2 million Americans in low-income or rural areas live within 10 miles or more from a supermarket. And more than 5 million households are without access to cars and live more than a half a mile from a supermarket. And that's where you see a lot of food being delivered. I think one of my neighbors, in fact, she fell a couple of weeks ago, and I heard the horn beating, the beeping, and I hear this horn beep, 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 and I noticed it was a distress call, so finally I went outside, and there she had fallen by the walkway. She couldn't get up. She's very heavy. She has diabetes, and I helped her up and got her into the house and got her settled. But I noticed, so I started watching the front door, and I noticed every single day the pizza delivery guy goes there every single day. And she's diabetic or near diabetic. She's talking about removing a couple of toes because of diabetes. But her doctors aren't telling her that this food is killing her. I mean, this is the real problem we have. Ken from Philly on the chat room says, I started running last March, was a Sunday jogger for a year. He started focusing. Now he's a 5-miler. He changed my diet at the same time, he says. Saw my doctor for preventative reasons. First visit, 167. 3 months later, 156. 3 months later, 148. I'm around 150 to 51. Lost 4 inches off his waist. Never felt better. Ran 105 miles in February this year, up to February this year, compared to 16 miles in February last year. That's very good. Started losing my weight after I got Nico's subscription. There you go, folks. You got to pick up the Health Signals newsletter because this stuff is in there. So, and my controller here is saying that even McDonald's is getting too expensive to eat too. It's true. And when you start fixing your own meals and start concerning yourself about health and whether you're running or just doing those simple exercises with the medicine ball that's described in my Health Signals newsletter, these things are going to be of value to you. You're going to have things happen in your life that you can say, this does make a difference. And every day when my clients come in and visit me at performance training, I hear great things. I hear, I am feeling better. I've lost inches. My slacks are fitting better. And I feel better about myself. And I've got more energy. These are the things that we're talking about. This is what you should be having. And as you get older, this is what you need so much of. So, folks, check out my newsletter and get that subscription. $10 a month, you're getting, right now, to take a look at the sample. We just put a new sample up there, which is really up to speed, has my new logo on it, but more important, it's got 20 pages of materials in there that, and with links on there that are going to take you to websites that are talking sense about what you should be eating and how to change your mind and how to get yourself out of this lifestyle of eating carbohydrates and eating the junk food and overeating and instead being satisfied with what you eat on a real small amount. Like my wife and I had chicken wings again last night, and we had three wings each and had an avocado. We split an avocado. That was our meal, and we were happy. We were so happy. It felt so good. And you're satisfied with what you have. A couple of pieces of chocolate, and it's fantastic. Okay, folks, you still have time to call me. It's 877-927-6648. And we're going to be back in a few minutes. Again, please pick up my Health Signals newsletter. Check me out on the archives at TFNN.com. Check out my new website, livingaprimal.lifestyle.com. See the videos on there from the show. The last 2 weeks are on there. We're going to keep archiving those. So plenty of things going on here in Living a Primal Lifestyle on TFNN.com. So check it out. We'll be right back.
At At Tiger Metal Exchange, we pay you more for converting your jewelry to cash.
Let's go to Brian in New Jersey. Hey, Brian, what's going on?
Hey, Tom, just want to let you know I did give you some jewelry. My jeweler offered me about $650. But you get a check in the mail tomorrow for about $1,200.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, it's all about honesty when converting your jewelry to cash.
Okay, let's go to Paul in Florida first. Hey, Paul, what's going on?
I want to commend you on the Tiger Metal Exchange. I just did a deal with you guys the other day.
Oh, good.
And I'm very happy.
Well, I appreciate it. Now, did you sell us jewelry or did you buy coins off us?
I sold you jewelry.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
What we weighted at was less than you guys said, so, you're totally honest.
At Tiger Metal Exchange, we give you the tools to value your gold, and it's absolutely free. Call 866-618-8888 or log on to TigerMetalExchange.com. We've created the easiest, safest, and most honest cash for gold process. Tiger Metal Exchange. It's the only call you need to make.
TFNN is proud to bring you the cutting edge of investment newsletters. Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks. Ken is a top-down investor who lets price and volume in the major stock indices tell him when to be in the market and when to be out. By using his unique blend of fundamental and technical analysis, Ken will protect your hard-earned capital while realizing breakout gains. Go to TFNN.com today, click Investment Newsletters, and get Ken Shreve's Ultimate Growth Stocks free for 2 weeks.
Would you like to discover the next great tech stock? David White, TFNN's technology guru, has just launched his new newsletter, The Technology Insider. In his newsletter, David will be looking for those shining stars that may turn into the next Apple, Microsoft, or Cisco. David combines his technology background as a software programmer with his market skills as a successful professional trader to give you this unique newsletter. We're on the verge of the next great tech run. With the Technology Insider, you'll be in front of the run-up and not lagging behind. David is developing a long-term investment portfolio, therefore we're only offering the Technology Insider as an annual subscription with a remarkable price of only $395. That's right, for a little over $1 a day, you'll receive the fundamental technology wisdom and technical trading skills of the Technology Insider David White. What are you waiting for? Go to the front of TFNN.com, click on the link on the front page, sign up for your 2-week free trial, and become a Technology Insider today.
Here's what people are saying about Tiger TV.
Let's go to John in Tampa. Hey, John, what's going on?
Hi, Tom. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. You having a good day out there?
A wonderful day. I love your Tiger TV. I watch it every day. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
Oh, man, I appreciate you out there watching it. How long have you been watching the Tiger TV?
I'm watching almost a month now, and it's wonderful.
It's pretty cool, isn't it?
Oh, yes, it's cool. You see the charts and everything. Thanks so much for the hard work.
Tiger TV, a great news service from TFNN.com.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pesavento's new trading newsletter, Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind. In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the forex market, and more. And you'll get the Technical Corner segment, which is a short but powerful weekly training session on trading. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you just the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 weeks. Go to TFNN.com and click on the free trial link at the top of the page. That's an $85 value, yours free when you register right now. Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind and get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back to the show, folks. It's Nico on Living a Primal Lifestyle. And a couple of weeks ago, Dr. Oz was talking about this raspberry ketone supplements. And, we all want shortcuts. And really, this is what this is about. This is about, of course, losing weight. And by taking this supplement, which is not a cheap supplement either. And really what these raspberry ketones are. Now, raspberries have very little fat in them, but these ketones are a really small amount. You have to have thousands and thousands of strawberries to get just a little gram of this stuff. So what this does, it's a stimulant. And it's worked in several tests. Really what it does, since it's a stimulant, it's going to raise up your heartbeat so that you're going to be burning a little bit more fat. Most of the tests that have been on there are speculative. The research behind the claims that strawberry ketones help with weight loss is scant. There have been 2 small studies showing laboratory mice are less likely to gain weight when adding raspberry ketones to their diet. However, there have been no placebo-controlled studies. Raspberry ketones affect the metabolism through 2 mechanisms by increasing the levels of 2 hormones. And these hormones cause the body's temperature to rise, causing the body to burn more fat. Raspberry ketone also increases the levels of a hormone that helps lowering glucose levels. So, this doing it artificially and then going back to your junk food is not going to do anything. So, these supplements, which are going to be expensive, there's no real way to do this for a long term. Short term, for a couple of months, you might be able to be on this, but I don't think long term would be healthy to be on a stimulant, which is basically most of the things that you're going to take for weight loss are going to be stimulants, which really raises your body temperature, raises the heartbeat up to an unnatural level that shouldn't be sustained for a long period of time. So it's going to be unhealthy. Of course, the thing that says that you have to requires a healthy diet and exercise to work. Well, the thing is that exercise and a healthy diet are going to put you there without these expensive supplements where we've had no testing anyway. So, do it the natural way is always going to be better. And do like Ken did, and do like the other people that are doing it that I'm getting letters from. And, if you want to email me, please email me at nico@tfnn.com. I do answer all my emails, and I appreciate every one of them. They mean a lot to me because this is how I know what you're thinking and what you want on this program. So anything that you want to hear about, I'm going to be talking about on this program. So, please do write me at nico@tfnn.com. You can also write me through my new website, which is livingaprimal.lifestyle.com. There's a answer page, Ask Nico page on there. There's also something about my personal training studio, a little blurb about my book, and of course my lecture that I gave last week at Nature's Food Patch is on there on the blog, and I'm going to be adding that at a blog probably maybe this weekend. I'll put some more on there, but I'm working as hard as I can to get this stuff out to you and try to explain to you that natural diet like the Primal diet and the Paleo diet is going to make a huge difference in the quality of your life, and you're going to start feeling it very, very fast. And most people feel something within a week or 2. And it's not hard to stick to once you've gone through the initial period of anywhere from 2 weeks to a month or so. So contact me. Give me a call next week. I'll be back, and check out my new website, livingaprimal.lifestyle.com. Everybody have a great weekend. I appreciate you being in the chat room and everybody listening out there, and have a good weekend. See ya.